And we are live. Welcome to another episode of Not Mainstream. I was getting ready to say Real or Not Real, but Not Mainstream. October 19th, 2019. And boy, do we have a lot of news to get into that happened this week. Let's start off with some nice stuff, some awesome stuff. Earlier this week, Pocahontas released results. And she's 1,224 part Cherokee. From what I understand, it's really small. And boy, did everybody had a field day with that. So we get the mainstream media, trying to hype her up and say, yeah, she's part Native American. Yeah, she's part Native American. And then more information came out later in the afternoon and next day. And they have to walk back the claims and say, well, she's just a little bit Native American. Not even most Americans are that.
Yeah.
And it basically blew up in her face. It just blew up in her face. Oh my God.
Now, the thing is, they really did not use Native American primers to test for DNA. They used primers from South America.
Yeah.
And things like that. So how can they get that she's part Cherokee from using primers from South America?
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit of a stretch, you ask me.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
the thing is, see, now we know that she's not as strong Native American as she claims to be.
Yeah.
And she is, she's culturally appropriating. And she obviously did it to get ahead. She obviously did
for Harvard.
Yeah. It's kind of obvious that that's why she did it.
Absolutely. So, the only reason she released the DNA results is because she's probably strongly going to run in 2020, and she just wanted to get ahead of that. But it just blew up in her face. I am laughing all the way to the bank, because of that. Hey, Leo.
Hey,
We're talking about Pocahontas' DNA results.
It's just crazy.
Nobody was surprised. Anybody that blonde-headed and God, she's got blue or green eyes, don't she?
Something like that.
And that doesn't mean you can't be part Native American, but a lot of us are.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us are more than that. You know, she was, we all knew it was a damn fraud, hoax, whatever to begin with. But I'm getting tired of seeing the comedy posts about it. Not that I don't think they're funny, I do, but we've seen the horse face and the Indian, the whatever, all the, let's move on.
Well,
we get caught, and she did.
As I pointed out to Shane, the thing is, they use primers from South America to quote unquote determine that she was Native American. They didn't even use Native American primers. See, that's the thing.
Oh, really?
If they had used Native American primers, that would be one thing. But
they did North American DNA, North American Native.
Well, not Native American. They
did. I don't think they use zero Native American DNA. They used what Henry said, Mexican, and like 2 other strands of DNA. It wasn't Native American.
Well, that's POS right there. Because she claimed to be Native North American, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
So, like a Sioux, a Chippewa, a Cherokee, something of that nature.
Yeah, she claimed to be Cherokee, but they didn't use any Cherokee DNA to compare her strand with whatever they did. So I wonder if so they probably took a page out of the Melba Kelcham DNA rulebook.
Well, but though with ancestry and all of that kind of thing, I guess they can dissect your DNA into European, or different African or different places from around the world. So maybe they looked for Native North American DNA and didn't find any, or found that little bitty bit.
Yeah.
Because I guess there are standards. See, like with Bigfoot, the government has it. We know we're not going to go into that, but a lot of people say there is no Bigfoot DNA on record to compare to. So I don't know. Anyway.
Well, the thing is, what I thought was funny was when President Trump said, I will pay $1 million for an independent genealogist to test her.
To
test her. Her test for DNA. I mean, I thought that was pretty funny. I mean, hey, listen, it could be a win-win for Elizabeth Warren, but she'll probably be like, well, I have nothing to prove to Donald Trump. So they'd be like,
maybe she just identifies as a Native American.
Well, yeah, but it's still cultural. It's still cultural
appropriation.
And it can be considered fraud. I mean, there may not be anything. There may not be anything illegal about it, but morally, it's pretty.
Yes, underhanded, fraudulent, dirty, nasty, lying.
Yeah, and like we stated in the beginning, that the only reason she used that whole Cherokee Indian blood in her story was just to get ahead in Harvard. And that's the only reason. And the only reason she released the DNA test is she's going to run in 2020, no question about it.
Yeah, I think so.
We get her and Hillary and Biden.
Oprah, apparently.
All running for the nomination.
There's like 100 different people running for the DNC nomination.
Oprah, not to run. Oprah just should not run.
I don't think Oprah is. It doesn't seem like she's considering it. It doesn't.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna run.
Her ratings are not what they used to be since she went with Obama and backed him, and everybody fell out over Obama. I mean, look at the people now. There are so many videos of liberals and Democrats on Facebook saying, I changed my mind. I figured out what they were doing, and I've changed my mind. And Oprah ain't the big name she was.
Yeah.
When Oprah went against God, that's I've not watched her in years and years.
Let's see here. Speaking, Lyle, you brought up a good transition. Horse faith. So Stormy Daniels, aka Horseface, according to President Trump, and her third-rate lawyer Michael Avenatti, got their lawsuit. The creepy porn lawyer. We need to change it to the creepy pimp lawyer because that's all he's doing is pimping her out. Anyway,
yeah.
So the lawsuit basically got dismissed, and now they have to pay President Trump's legal fees.
Yes, they do.
So yeah, so I made a comment. I'm like, okay, if this dude Michael Avenatti is going to run in 2020, he can't even win a lawsuit. How can he win 2020? I mean, come on, he is a horrible, horrible lawyer, and he's not even Saul Goodman horrible. He's just absolutely downright horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he ever won a case, to my knowledge.
Wonder why she hired him.
That's why she lost.
No, I mean, why did she hire him to start with if she
I
knew
have no idea.
Never won a case or whatever?
I don't know why I don't know why she went with him either.
Yeah, there's no telling.
I haven't heard why she went with him.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What a piece of crap she
But
is.
you know, President Trump, he decided to spike the ball and call Stormy Daniels a horse face. Oh, how dare he? That's don't do that. No, that proves his history of misogyny. You know, it proves that he's a misogynist.
Here's the thing. The only reason why he brought it up was so it can get media traction. That's the only reason. Because it would have never gotten media traction if he didn't bring it up.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, the media. I mean, they bought it hook, line, and sinker. I mean, they immediately.
Yeah. They always
how dare
do.
he?
They always,
This is.
They always.
Yeah.
He's a misogynist. He's this. He's that.
I will just. The Democrats are just stooping lower and lower and lower.
Mm-hmm.
And I really feel like there are, maybe we discussed this last week or whatever, but there are a lot of Democrats who are just Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
They're not liberals.
Mm-hmm.
They're not whiny asses. They're not millennials.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just old farmers and regular people who just always voted Democrat, and they go to church on Sunday and they're good to their neighbor. And I think they are having a change. The black population is having a great change.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad because I want the blacks to do well.
Mm-hmm.
This mess in Chicago and Detroit and all of that, and babies getting shot, I hate that. It breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I want them to do well and have an opportunity and to do well. And with Trump, they can get that. The Democrats are just feeding them phones and whatever and keeping them, but vote for me, but vote for me. And they don't know any difference. That's just how they always voted.
Yeah.
You know, like the old farmers or, you know, whatever, that just always voted Democrat. But now more people are seeing and realizing and changing. And I'm so glad.
Yeah. Yeah, I even brought up, I said there's two different types of Democrats. There's the blue collar, white collar working Democrats, and then there's the left wing socialist communist Democrats. And you have the people that's, you know, more leaning towards the blue collar side of things. So they have to vote Republican so they can get more of the blue collar people in there and the white collar people.
Yeah.
And
well, and a lot of
those
people.
are the blue dog Democrats, the ones you're referring to.
Yeah.
The
Blue Dog deal.
change the vote
Mm-hmm.
deal. I watched a guy on Facebook today. It was a black dude. I don't remember it was his name, and it was the first time I had seen him. I liked the. I don't know if I liked the page. I don't know if it was, but I liked anyway. I hit like, and he said that he was in the Middle East when Trump was elected, and he and some of his friends, and were like, "Dog man," he was totally against Trump. And he said, as a few years have gone by now, he said right away Trump did something that intrigued him, that he had said he was going to do, and he did it quick. And he said, "Well, wait a minute, man." And Trump did something else. He said, and he had never been into politics, but he got researching and reading the Democrat side, the Republican side, all of the history. And he said he had changed. He was a Trump supporter now, and everybody needed to get out there for the black community as well as everybody else. Because the Democrats' biggest target, other than illegals, is the black community, and they want to keep them down. And these people deserve the same rights as anybody and everybody else, to have their children in safe schools, and the gangs run out, and all of what were you gonna say?
It's always interesting what goes on with this kind of stuff. But I just think it's. I thought it was funny. I mean, some may have thought it was classless for the president to call Stormy Daniels horseface, but I personally don't see anything wrong with it.
It's something that we expected. He's gave nicknames to people before. He's called them names, but people about people before. I mean, this is nothing new.
It ain't that bad. It could have been a heck of a lot worse. It could have been something rude, and nasty.
Well,
and it wasn't a great thing to say, but it could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Well, the problem is, I mean, she started, so.
Yeah, she started it. We're in second grade. She started
because we know that this president, he's the type who does not let things slide. As far as if someone insults him, he's going to insult them right back. He's fighting back against the left.
Yeah.
And a lot of these Republicans in the past, they were just kind of passive aggressive about it. They didn't say anything. They did not fight back. He's the first Republican, I guess you could call him Republican, to fight back.
Yeah. And he does. And that is one thing I and so many people find refreshing, is that, okay, like this horse face thing. He could have said something a lot more nasty, rude, and crude, but he didn't. But and I'm glad he didn't. But at the same time, this man is not afraid to stand up and tell you how he feels.
Yeah.
Truthfully, honestly, and that's what we need. Obama lied his entire 8 years. Everything come out of his mouth was a lie.
Yeah. I mean.
And Hillary too.
Yep.
And
that's true.
Trump, ain't scared and don't take no crap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we need, because the Democrats are trying their damnedest to lead us into communism,
Mm-hmm.
where they run the country, and we cannot have that.
As well, he should not be afraid. There's no
Yeah.
need to be afraid.
Mm-mm. We elected someone that is a strong leader, and he is a strong leader.
Yeah, I think the one thing that Americans like is, I mean, listen. This president was elected because of his strong stance and his strong personality.
Yep.
I don't think he would have been elected otherwise if he didn't have a strong personality. If he didn't have the mentality of, I would say, a pit bull. I mean, and that's the mentality he has.
Yeah, he does.
He's a pit bull. He will fight back. Nobody's going to intimidate him. Nobody's going to stop him from saying what he wants to say and doing what he wants to do. He learned that as,
a young
he learned that as a young man growing up in New York City.
and yes, his dad gave him $1 million or whatever it was to start a company. But look what he's done. And he committed, bankruptcy a couple of times. Not committed, but he's rebuilt it all back and more every time. And as I've said before, Donald Trump has dealt with half or 3/4 of the countries in the world, and built hotels or golf courses or casinos or whatever. And he has talked to their leaders and talked to their administration, and he knows how to deal with them and how to work with them. Because people, or the people in Afghanistan, don't do business maybe like we do, or the people in India, or and or China, and he has had experience with all these governments already. And I think that is very helpful for him too. He knows how to bluff them. He knows which way they're going to go. He knows how they operate and what they want to get out of it, and how to negotiate.
Well, you see, the president, he started out the week being on 60 Minutes. He just eviscerated Leslie Stahl. You're muted, Shane.
Yeah, that was 60 Minutes interview. Yeah, that was great. I saw clips of it. Loved every second of it. I loved the whole.
I saw some.
I'm president and you're not. That was brutal.
And she's always been a snot.
Oh yeah, I don't like her.
She was even more particularly a snot doing in that interview, but he wasn't having any of it. See, that 60 Minutes interview kind of started off the week of him not taking any crap from anybody. Then the Stormy Daniels comment, and then at one of his rallies, I think it was Wednesday night, he said, Joe Biden said that he was going to take me behind the woodshed, take me behind the barn or whatever. He said, well, you know what? If that happens, Joe is going to be laying on the ground.
Oh, shit.
And then now the media is like, well, he's trying to incite violence in his rallies and all that bull crap. And I'm like, and CNN and MSNBC is inciting riots because against Trump supporters.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. And who else? Eric Holder.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah, Eric Holder's like, when they go, the saying used to be, when they go low, we go high. Now, when they go low, we kick them in the face.
Yeah, and then you got crazy ass Maxine Waters saying you need to assault every Trump supporter and confront them at every restaurant and all that crap. I mean, geez, it's been going like that ever since he started his campaign.
Did y'all see the video today of the Republicans yelling at Pelosi?
Yeah, I did. I got a glimpse of that. That was great. It was epic.
Somebody,
I thought she was gonna have a breakdown.
Somebody commented on the post that I saw that it was all made up. It was paid Republicans to go and make a fuss for show.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't throw sticks or bombs or poison or bleach or hit anybody or do anything, of that nature. So it could have been real Republicans and just trying to, make a noise. But
well,
I don't know.
Well, let's see.
She's trying to make it out like the Republicans are after me. They're so terrible.
Well, all this.
Well, Nancy Pelosi starts it too.
All this call to violence started during Obama's tenure as president.
Yep.
He was saying, hey, we gotta get in their faces. We gotta get in these conservatives' faces.
Black Lives Matter, and then
this was before Black Lives Matter. This was before Black Lives Matter and Antifa.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Obama said this in, I think, 2009 when he said this. This is before that.
I don't know how we kept Hillary out except by a miracle from God. Because I know in my heart that the Muslim Brotherhood sent Obama here years ago, groomed him, trained him, and paid for him to become president. In amongst with that, Hillary's going to be next, and they all had it all planned out. And it was by the grace of God, I think, with the Democratic voter fraud, the enormous amount of voter fraud, how we pulled it out. And she still bitched about the Electoral College and all of that.
She still is complaining and bitching and moaning. She's still complaining, and it's rumored she's going to try and run for a third time in 2020, which I wouldn't be surprised if she does. I would not be surprised at all.
If I were Hillary, I would stop and go home. But I'm not Hillary.
That's the thing. And you have...
go away.
Yeah, and there's so many articles from these leftist sites saying that Hillary needs to go away. Hillary needs to go away. They're trying to wish her away to like the little kid from Twilight Zone. They're trying to wish her away out in the cornfield somewhere, but she's not going. She's not going. She's gonna go. She's gonna go on her own terms. She's gonna go on her own terms, and she's in it for the long haul. And I think that's
Yeah.
And I think that's what's hurting the DNC right now is that Hillary is not leaving.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I
Yes,
do too.
she'll be on the campaign trail when she falls out and dies.
Probably so. Yeah, she is. She is. She really has no. She really
Filter.
has. No, she has no shame.
Mhm.
She has no shame.
Yeah.
She is
Got
just.
big damn balls though. She is full of herself.
Mhm.
She is the greatest person she has ever known in her life.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
It's very true. And I can say this is that well, she's very narcissistic. I mean, there are those who claim, well, Trump is narcissistic. No, not as narcissistic as Obama was. Not as narcissistic as Hillary.
Yeah, Obama too.
Yeah.
Well, you need to be a certain amount. Like if you talk to NASCAR drivers, sometimes they're all very nice, very friendly, very loving, but they sometimes have a cockiness to them.
Yeah.
Well, you got to be cocky to get in a damn car and run at 200 miles an hour. You've got to have some cockiness. But as with Trump being narcissistic and Hillary, it's a different type of narcissism.
Well, with Trump, I mean, he is at least concerned about Americans. He's concerned about American.
Yeah, we could transition to the whole.
I was going to say
the whole illegal immigrants that's coming through Honduras, and in that big caravan of like 12,000 people.
Can I finish my point? Real quick?
Oh yes, please.
What I was going to say was that Trump's speeches are not punctuated with me, and I all the time like Obama's.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with that. They're we and us Americans. Yes. And I remember also always noticing with Obama, he would say, well, my army has been told so and so. My council, it was all, whatever it was.
Obama gave a few weeks ago, or maybe a month or so ago, about, well, this is my economy that Trump's riding off of. It's like, no, it's not. You've been out for 2 years, dude. That's been plenty a long time enough for Trump to gain control of the economy.
Because we didn't build that. Somebody else built that.
You didn't build that. You didn't build these roads. You didn't build this.
What a freaking dickhead. God.
Yep, that's very true.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
yep.
Shane,
but
you were going to transition into...
Yeah, like you said, Henry, he's focusing on about American issues, just like with this whole caravan of illegals coming through Honduras and up through Mexico and trying to get to the border. He's focusing on that now, and he's trying to maybe pump the military at the border to stop them. And it's going to take a lot. I mean, I think that's what they need to do. What Trump needs to do is pull the military out of Afghanistan, out of Syria, out of wherever, and put them on the border. That's where the military needs to be, is on the border 24/7. Even with the border patrol, use the border patrol too. Have them help the border patrol. But yeah, all these illegals, it needs to be taken care of. It needs to be nipped in the bud, not 6 months from now, but ASAP as soon as possible.
I heard today that they were turning around.
Some of them were, but others is continuing on.
Yeah, y'all talking about this caravan, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3,000-4,000 people.
Yeah.
Then I think I saw where Mexico had stopped them all on their side,
Mm-hmm.
on the Mexican side, but then after so many hours or whatever, they let them proceed. And I also saw a post that said the Mexican whatever governor or whoever had said that all these illegals coming through the country were making the crime rates rise.
Mm-hmm.
And I commented on it and said, "Oh, well, that must be real tough for them." Damn.
Yeah. So what happened was that the caravan migrants broke the Guatemala border fence, and now they're rushing into Mexico.
Okay. Well,
And then I don't know if you guys saw the video of people getting paid.
yeah,
Um,
I did.
yeah. Yeah. So yeah, some of these people, if not all of them, are getting paid to come across the border.
And who is it that's paying them?
Soros, number one,
Gonna
public
say
enemy number
all
one.
together, Soros.
Yep, public enemy number one, George Soros.
Absolutely. It's really getting crazier and crazier.
Not
I tell you, yeah, these what do you call it? These illegals. It is a true problem. This is why
Yeah.
Trump needs. This is why Trump needs the wall, and it's just this is what he needs the wall, and the Democrats and some of the Republicans are not giving it to him.
Yeah, and that's why we need to go out this November and vote for pro-Trump, pro-America candidates.
vote red.
Absolutely. Make America great again.
Just ask for the Republican ballot and do and cross in whoever. Anybody Republican is going to be better.
Yeah.
Your worst Republican is going to be better than your best liberal.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I mean, I'm just saying for people who aren't familiar with all of the choices and what they stand for, get a Republican ballot.
Yes. What I was going to say was that the good thing is my two senators are definitely pro-Trump. Roger Wicker and Cindy Hyde-Smith. Cindy Hyde-Smith is, of course, the newest Republican senator from the state of Mississippi, and she's doing a great job. And she's very much pro-Trump, and so is Roger Wicker, which that's positive. That's a good thing. I am glad to. I do intend on supporting both of them and voting for them. Now, Cindy is in a special election because she was appointed by our governor to the position. She was appointed back in I think back in the summer, and she's she's going to be part of. She's running against a Democrat and also another Republican feels that he should have been the one that was nominated. That being Chris McDaniel, I think McDaniel is making a fool of himself. He can run if he wants to, but still.
What about that?
I think he's acting very child. I think he's acting very childish.
What about the woman in Georgia that's running for? What's she running for?
I forgot her
liberal.
name. I forgot her name, but yeah, I know who you got. Yeah.
And she's in with some Muslim chick. Why do people not realize? Does the Muslim person say, hey, I promise I love you, you're my friend, I'll take you with me and we'll go high places, and they are dumb enough to believe them? Or do they not care about their grandchildren being raised in Sharia law?
Apparently they don't.
And how I just don't get how the LGBTQ whatever embrace the Muslims. Do they not know? Or do they just not think it's true? What?
They've been brainwashed by media and the academia and all that. They've been brainwashed by all that into thinking it's, hip and cool and progressive when it's not.
Well, and they don't realize that these people want to kill us. And I'm not saying every Muslim wants to kill us, but
yeah,
but the central,
the majority of them
who believe and live by the Quran says kill every infidel. And they don't, and for years people have been saying, what's wrong with them immigrating here? They're not immigrating here to assimilate. They're immigrating to take over. And what about all the Muslims that were killed in the Crusades? The Europeans weren't going out to kill the Muslims. They were fighting the Muslims off. The Muslims were trying to invade Europe. How many thousands of years of history? Well, I guess 1500 or whatever, but it's my mind that people are this, maybe they think I'm stupid too, but how dumb can you be? Okay, rant done.
Let's see here. Trying to think what else.
I have a couple of things. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Henry.
These pertain to the national news. Paul Manafort is a judge has dropped some charges against him, against the former Trump campaign manager. Says U.S. prosecutors on Friday agreed to drop criminal charges against Paul Manafort that the jury deadlocked on in August, as a federal judge set a February 8th date for the former Trump campaign manager's sentencing on charges of bank fraud and filing false tax returns. Prosecutors initially favored waiting until Manafort finished cooperating with special counsel Robert Mueller's probe into Russian interference in the 2016 election, before addressing the remaining charges. But U.S. District Judge T.S. Ellis rejected the timetable so he could move forward with sentencing Manafort, who appeared in court in a wheelchair, was said to be suffering significant health issues. I have not heard any estimation from the government of when his cooperation will be complete, Ellis said, referring to the special counsel investigation. I'm not willing to go on endlessly before sentencing Manafort, he added. Uzo Asanye, a lawyer for the government, told Ellis it was not clear when Manafort's cooperation would be completed. The special counsel's office also said it would not oppose Ellis's new timetable. Ellis dropped the charges on which the jury had deadlocked and did so without prejudice, meaning the prosecution could reintroduce them at a later date. He set the February 8th sentencing date for the tax and bank fraud charges on which Manafort was convicted. At his trial in August, Manafort was convicted of 8 counts of bank fraud, tax fraud, and failing to disclose foreign bank accounts. But the jury was unable to reach a verdict on 10 other charges, including failure to register foreign bank accounts and conspiracy to commit bank fraud, so a mistrial was declared on those. Ellis's decision to move ahead with sentencing could result in Manafort receiving a higher prison sentence at first, which prosecutors could then seek to have reduced if he furthers the Mueller probe. Several sentencing experts predicted Manafort, 69-year-old former political consultant, would receive a prison term of about 10 years. Manafort is the most senior of President Donald Trump's former aides to be convicted in Mueller's Russia investigation. Prosecutors accused him of hiding from U.S. tax authorities $16 million he earned as a political consultant for pro-Russian politicians in Ukraine to fund an opulent lifestyle, and then lying to banks to secure $20 million in loans after his Ukrainian income dried up and he needed cash. The charges largely predated Manafort's tenure on Trump's successful presidential campaign in 2016.
That's the key. That's the key word right there. That's the key word.
Yes. After months of refusing to assist Mueller's probe, Manafort finally took a plea deal in September and agreed to cooperate in return for reduced charges. Manafort appeared in court in green prison uniform that said Alexandria inmate. He was in a wheelchair and had a bandage on his right foot. A source familiar with his health said he had a serious medical condition related to his diet. Manafort had asked permission to wear his suit, but Ellis rejected the request, saying he should be treated no differently from other defendants in custody post-conviction.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, he is.
We're at the end.
What?
I was just saying gout.
Yeah, probably gout. Probably what it is.
And so, I'm prone to gout, and it hurts like, good God. It really does.
Well, what I was going to say was that, what was I going to say?
I'm sorry.
Oh, no problem. What I was going to say was that, see, I'm not even sure why Manafort is still news, because he, as that statement in that article said, most of the stuff that he did with Russian candidates or whatever was before he was the campaign manager for Trump.
Yeah. And CNN and MSNBC won't tell you that. They'll just say he's been arrested for Russian money laundering and all that other nonsense. They won't tell you that this is way before the Trump campaign. And here's the thing. They're investigating the Trump campaign and Russia collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. It's like what Manafort did was way before his tenure with the Trump campaign. So I don't get why this is still even a thing. I mean, it doesn't even relate to the 2016 election.
Why in the hell do they keep dragging that crap on and on? I guess because they ain't got nothing better.
Yeah.
So they keep making up new shit and dragging it along and along. God, it's been 2 years. Get over it.
Yeah.
The only collusion we have found in the whole mess is with Hillary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Not Trump.
Yeah, this is what you would call a nothing burger and much ado about nothing. To be quite honest, it really is. It's just this has nothing to do with
Trying to find something to put on the news to hold them over until they have another big thing that they can try to run down Trump with.
Mm-hmm.
They got to have something to hold them over because they can't tell us what's going on bad with the Democrats. They can't say that, so they have to fill in with oatmeal until they can until something comes around again in the next week or two that they can use to run down Trump.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go. Okay,
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Leah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, has anybody heard lately what Don Lemon's job report is? If he got fired, if he got reprimanded.
He didn't get fired. He didn't get reprimanded. He's still a talking head on CNN.
Yeah.
Did you see the thing that had the picture of him and his boyfriend walking down the street? He's got a white boyfriend, Don Lemon does. Yeah. But and there was a picture of them walking down the street. I don't know, New York, California, wherever. But anyway, they were walking down the street holding hands, and they said, "Why? If you're sleeping with a white guy, why would you demean Kanye West by calling him a sellout white guy, honky?"
Yeah, I think I saw something like that. Yeah,
that's kind of two-fisted, ain't it?
I guess. I'm not really concerned with Don Lemon. He's a jackass. Everybody knows he's a jackass. Okay, second item I have is Beto O'Rourke. It says he still supports impeaching Trump. Now he's the individual who's running against Ted Cruz for the Senate seat in Texas. Texas Democratic Senate candidate Beto O'Rourke said at a CNN town hall Thursday night he would still vote to impeach President Donald Trump. The El Paso congressman challenging Ted Cruz said that his position on impeachment had changed, even as Cruz has used the issue to galvanize conservative voters against O'Rourke's campaign. Asked by CNN's Dana Bash if he had changed his mind after saying he'd vote to impeach Trump this summer, O'Rourke said, "I haven't." He pointed to the ongoing probe into whether Trump's 2016 campaign colluded with Russia. There may be an open question as to whether the president and the candidate sought to collude with the Russian government in 2016, O'Rourke said. But to quote George Will, very conservative columnist. No, actually, George Will is not a very conservative columnist. He's only conservative to the left. He's very much a never-Trumper.
Yeah.
When we saw him on that stage in Helsinki defending Vladimir Putin, the head of the country that attacked our democracy in 2016 instead of this country and its citizens in this amazing democracy, that was collusion in action. Well, first of all, we are not a democracy, we're a republic. We're a constitutional republic.
Constitutional republic.
Yeah, that's the first thing. Second thing, to say that was collusion in action, that's just going way too far. That's kind of stretching the limits of credibility. He continued, "You may have wondered when he fired James Comey, the principal investigator into what happened in that election, whether that was an attempt to obstruct justice. But when, by broad daylight on Twitter, he asked his Attorney General Jeff Sessions to end the Russia investigation, I would say that's obstruction in action." O'Rourke then said he likens impeachment to an indictment. There's enough there to proceed to a trial, he said. O'Rourke said he would not prejudge the outcome of the trial. All I'm saying is there's enough there, he said. I know that this is not politically easy or convenient to talk about. 242 years into this experiment, nothing guarantees it's 243rd, 244th. Oh, so we're an experiment now. Oh, okay, I see. So we're not a country of laws and freedom. We're just an experiment to these lefties. The answer will likely fuel further attacks from Cruz, and rightfully so, who repeatedly cited O'Rourke's comments that he'd vote to impeach Trump in their most recent debate Tuesday night in Texas. Trump won Texas in 2016 and is headed to Houston to campaign for Cruz on Monday. At that debate, O'Rourke, who is trailing in polls despite shattering fundraising records for a Senate campaign with $38 million in 2018's third quarter, mimicked Trump's 2016 presidential campaign attacks on Cruz as Lyon did. O'Rourke told CNN's Bash Thursday night he has some regrets about the comment. It's not something that I feel totally comfortable with, and perhaps in the heat of the moment I took a step too far. Asked if he regrets the moment, O'Rourke said, I don't know that that's the way that I want to be talking in this campaign. CNN invited Cruz multiple times to appear tonight in his own town hall, but he declined. Well, he has the right to decline. There's nothing suspicious about that.
Yeah, and plus, I think Ted Cruz knew that CNN was going to stack the town hall against them, like they usually do.
Yeah.
So I would have not went either. I wouldn't have done it either.
Well, the good thing is this Beto O'Rourke is trailing, and I'm hoping he will lose to Ted Cruz. You know.
I like Ted Cruz a lot.
Yes.
And I just hope that he stays up there in Washington, and then maybe someday in the future we'll see how he acts, see how he does. But I do like him a lot. And I like Trey Gowdy. Good God. Damn. Give me some Gowdy.
Well, I was going to say, Ted Cruz has been very strong for the state of Texas, and I think he's good for the state of Texas. And he's done very well. And
I can agree with that too. Yeah.
I mean, there was, yes, he campaigned against President Trump for the presidential nomination, but hey,
that's the whole
there were
point.
things, there were things said between the two that were sort of in the heat of the moment type deal. But they do genuinely respect each other. I think they do.
Yeah, I think so too. In
other words, it wasn't anything personal between the two. They had different ideas about how to proceed with things. That's all.
I don't know. I would hope. It seems to me and I hope that when the Republicans debate, they endorse and pump up what they want to do. This is what I want to do. Instead of saying, look at what they did, that was horrible. Look at what they did. And I know that sometimes, you might, put a look at what they did in there. But instead of concentrating on running the competitor down, try to build yourself up better. You know what I'm saying? So don't stand up there 20 minutes and talk about all the crap your competitor didn't do, get up there and talk about what you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know, that's a better campaign in my mind.
Yep, there you go.
And I like to think that's what our Republicans do in a debate. Henry, is that you that makes that little noise?
What noise?
Vibrating noise.
The little
It's yeah. It's probably what do you call it? Notifications from Facebook.
years and years ago in the 90s. I helped my husband with construction, and hell, we had a anyway. But way back in the beginning, we would trim out houses, and I had this little rechargeable screwdriver. And I would go around and put the doorknobs and the door stops and the towel rods and, you know, all of that in. And that little reach, every time I hear it, ring, it, it reminds me of that little screwdriver I had 25 years ago.
Let's see here. You got anything else, Henry, that you wanted to add?
No, other than that, this is, you know, I'm hoping that the Republicans, especially the strong conservative Republicans, win.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we are. Let's see. It'll be 2 weeks. Wait a minute. Yeah, 2 weeks from this upcoming Tuesday is the that is the midterms.
Yeah, and a lot can happen in those 2 weeks, and that's a long ways away. A long ways away. So let's see here. I think the big news story is this journalist that died, and Saudi Arabia is suspect number one. I'm not really following much into that. Has anyone else followed into that?
Well, apparently I'm not sure if he is. I'm not sure if he. Supposedly he knew some. I think he knew some state secrets or something like that, and he is. He was missing, and I guess he died. So, or he was found dead. I don't know much about it. I mean, I suppose we could kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say that, we can't, talk too much about it because we don't know the whole story. And by all means, I'm no fan of Saudi Arabia. I think they're one of the countries we shouldn't be doing business with. But everybody's like, oh, Trump is still doing business with Saudi Arabia and all that. I'm like, where were you in the 8 years that Obama basically sold out to the Saudis?
Yeah.
Where were you when Obama was selling out to the Saudis? So come on.
I agree.
Now you want to make a big fuss about it because Trump's involved? Give me a break.
I agree.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia, when you consider the whole country, there are supposed to be parts of it that are better than other parts. And that some may be more apt to work with America and some not. So Turkey, I think, is a little better. It has more Christians in it, I think. But other than Israel, Egypt, and Israel, that's about. I mean, the rest is just. Now, there's a few other countries that are, that have a decent amount of Christians, but we got to get. I'm not saying go over there, invade and bomb or anything, but we got to keep the Christians safe and the Jews. You know, I'm not Jewish, but I'm Christian. I'm not Jewish, but the Jews are God's chosen people. And whether they believe Jesus, some believe Jesus came, some believe he didn't, blah, 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 whatever. But I want Jerusalem and the Jews taken care of. And you know what? That, what do they call it? That, shield? Forgot. They built a big wall, the Iron Dome. No, it's,
I have no idea.
It's a thing that shoots down planes as they're coming at you.
Oh, gosh. Some kind of defense mechanism. I'm not sure what it's called.
Yeah. But anyway, they've been holding their own, and I'll tell you what, the damn Muslims are trying hard to tear it all down. Okay, what's the next subject? Is Henry with us?
I'm here. I'm just listening.
Let's see here. So Claire McCaskill got into some heat because of the Undercover Project Veritas videos. Shows that she is a loony lefty, I guess you can call it. And she's trying to do damage control before election time comes around. And it's going to be pretty tough. Pretty tough.
Yeah, she... what was it that went with her? Her,
basically, her campaign exposed how she's lying to get votes. Yeah.
Well, her campaign exposed it.
Yeah, Project Veritas went undercover in her campaign, and they filmed her campaign people and exposing what Claire McCaskill really believes.
I don't know if anything will come of it or whatever, but at least the news is out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that with Phil Breenson, I think, in Tennessee. Brinson, he's been exposed as well in his campaign. And then Project Veritas, there's more to come, so I cannot wait for that.
Me either. And remember, the dude, I think we might have talked about it last week, and I can't remember now if it's South Carolina or Georgia, Florida, maybe, where the the dude had all of the donations for the hurricane victims funneled straight to the Democratic and put all the money in there.
Yeah. He posted the tweet. Instead of going to the hurricane victims, he's going to his campaign.
Right.
Yeah.
What a piece of crap.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're standing up. I'm sorry, I've got a mouthful of cracker.
That's all right.
But you're standing up in front of your state and God and your mama. and saying, send these donations so we can help these flooded, homeless people, and you're funneling it right through to your campaign fund? How nasty can you get?
That's not what McCaskill's doing. That's what Bill Nelson's doing.
Yeah, Bill Nelson from Florida.
Yeah.
McCaskill is just, lying to get votes, which no surprise there. Let's see here.
And have y'all ever noticed when you get these big cards in the mail,
Yeah.
before election time?
Mm-hmm.
They're all red and they're all blue mixed together, and none of them ever say what party they're with.
Yeah. Let's see here. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
I just go
Anything
in
else?
ask for my Republican sheet.
Yeah. Henry, you think we covered everything? All the major points?
I think we have.
Yeah, I think so too.
I can't think of too much more that.
Yeah. So let's get into some local news. Henry, what do you got for us locally?
I have a couple of stories. I've been talking about Jim Hood here lately, the Attorney General for our state. He's announced a nationwide settlement on CVS Health/Aetna merger. Senior citizens in Mississippi and other states are now protected from potential increased prescription drug prices and reduced choices that could have resulted from the merger of CVS Health and Aetna, thanks to a settlement by Attorney General Jim Hood, the U.S. Department of Justice, and a multi-state coalition. The agreed order requires Aetna to sell Medicare Part D plans of 1.5 million to their 1.5 million people to their competitors. WellCare health plans in order to move forward with the planned merger. Prior to the agreement, the Mississippi Attorney General's office was concerned that the $69 billion merger would cause anti-competitive effects, including increased prices, inferior customer service, decreased innovation in 16 Medicare Part D regions covering 22 states. The complaint, filed in D.C. District Court, alleges that the loss of competition between CVS and Aetna would result in lower quality services and increased costs for consumers, federal government, and ultimately taxpayers. Based on a report by insurance regulators, the proposed merger could have otherwise made a particular impact in Mississippi, but for the divestiture. A.G. Hood said the proposed merger would join two of the largest companies in this market. CVS, which holds the second largest market share, and Aetna the fourth largest. Without requiring Aetna to sell off part of its business in order for the merger to go through, the consolidation could have harmed Mississippi's most vulnerable populations, seniors ages 65 and over, and people with disabilities, by reducing options and increasing health care costs, Hood said. As part of the agreement, we will receive information that will help us monitor the impact of the merger on our older citizens and intervene if necessary. CVS is a nationwide drugstore chain that has grown to include pharmacy benefit management and SilverScript insurance. And Aetna is one of the nation's largest health insurance carriers. Under the terms of the proposed settlement, Aetna must assist WellCare in operating the business during the transition and in transferring the affected customers through a process regulated by the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, an agency within the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. General Hood was joining this announcement by the U.S. Department of Justice and attorneys general from California, Hawaii, Florida, and Washington. So, interesting stuff going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And the next story is, y'all probably remember about a month ago I was talking about Mississippi's finally getting a lottery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I think I remember.
well, the governor has actually appointed a 5-person lottery board. And this is news as of today. Governor Phil Bryant appointed 5 members today to the Mississippi Lottery Corporation Board of Directors. The members include Dr. Cass Pennington, Philip A. Chambly, Dr. Mike McGreevy, Kimberly LaRosa, and Gerald Gibbert. The Mississippi Lottery Corporation was created during the Mississippi Legislature 2018 first extraordinary session upon passage of Senate Bill 2001. The affairs of the corporation shall be administered by the Mississippi Lottery Corporation Board of Directors, composed of 5 members appointed by the governor with the advice and consent of the Mississippi Senate. I am grateful these 5 highly qualified individuals have agreed to take on the responsibility of the Mississippi Lottery Corporation Board of Directors by accepting these appointments, Governor Bryant said. This group has exceptional experience in diverse sectors of public and private business, and I know they will carry out the affairs of the board effectively. Gibbert is currently the CEO of Venture Technologies, a technology solutions provider headquartered in Ridgeland. That's Ridgeland, Mississippi. Founded in 1986, Venture delivers a variety of IT infrastructure solutions to thousands of private and public sector customers across the United States. Venture has completed 4 acquisitions since 2014, increasing annual revenues to $215 million, with a staff of 276 across 11 states. Gibbert worked as a senior consultant in the Management Information Consulting division of Arthur Anderson and Company, division that eventually became Accenture prior to Venture Technologies. He is currently chairman of the board of Empower Mississippi and an at-large board member of the Madison County Economic Development Authority. He holds a Bachelor of Accountancy from the University of Mississippi and is married to the former Julie Gill of Biloxi. They have 2 children, and their family attends St. Francis of Assisi Church in Madison. Pennington is a retired educator and former superintendent of both the Indianola and West Tallahatchie school districts. Prior to that, he was the Indianola junior high school principal, teacher, and coach. Pennington served as executive director of Delta Health Alliance from 2004 to 2008 and currently sits on its board. He's a former member of the Mississippi Board of Trustees of the Institutions of Higher Learning, Mississippi Instructional Management Task Force, and the South Sunflower County Hospital. He is a former president of the Delta Council. Additionally, Pennington has served on the Mississippi State Health Board and as administrative assistant to the president at Delta State University. He and his wife Carolyn reside in Indianola and have 1 child. LaRosa currently serves as the president/CEO of Renaissance Community Loan Fund and has been in the role since 2008. She is responsible for providing direction and leadership in the formation of a team and framework. She performs executive, supervisory, and management functions and duties as assigned by the chairman and board of directors and has general charge of business affairs and property of the corporation. LaRosa's experience includes the oversight of loan origination, servicing, funding, investing in real estate mortgage loans, commercial lending, overseeing the company's majority share of a 118-unit independent senior living facility, and meeting the demand for the organization's capital needs. In her role, she has overseen the management of $62.5 million in community development block grant funding for various programs and is proficient in Securities and Exchange Commission reports and mergers and acquisitions. Prior to becoming president/CEO, she was the chief financial officer for Renaissance Community Loan Fund. Additionally, LaRosa was senior director of property finance for Isla Capri Casinos Incorporated in Biloxi for 12 years. She is a member of the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and Mississippi Society of Certified Public Accountants. LaRosa holds a Bachelor of Science in Accounting from William Carey College and is also a Goldman Sachs 10,000 Small Businesses graduate. She lives in Pass Christian with her husband Carl and they have 2 children. McGreevy is currently the Deputy Director of Mississippi Development Authority. Prior to going to the MDA, he was City of Marine's Chief Administrative Officer. There he was responsible for managing the day-to-day operations of the city, including economic development and working to improve the city's infrastructure. McGreevy's financial management background with military, government, and private sector is extensive. As a career military officer, he served as a financial officer at many stateside and overseas locations. At Mississippi State University, he served as the Chief of Staff, Chief Financial Officer, and Vice President of Finance and Administration. He holds a Bachelor of Science in Business from the University of Southern Mississippi and a PhD in Education from Mississippi State University. McGreevy and his wife Ada reside in Decatur. They have 2 adult children and 2 grandchildren. Chamblee is currently the Executive Director / CEO of the Mississippi Petroleum Marketers and Convenience Stores Association and the Mississippi Propane Gas Association. He manages 2 large trade associations providing vital business services to the membership while successfully working with numerous federal and state regulatory agencies and the Mississippi legislature to improve the overall business environment for the member industries. Chamblee has 28 years of experience in progressively challenging sales and management positions, expertise in public relations, business development, operations, purchasing, human resources, and budgeting. Prior to his current roles, he was the Executive Director of the Mississippi Funeral Directors Association from 2008 to 2010 and was Vice President of the Heritage Agency Insurance and Investments from 1994 to 2008. Chamblee holds a Bachelor of Business Administration from Mississippi State University and Industry Certification from the University of Mississippi School of Banking. He lives in Madison. The Commissioner of Revenue and the State Treasurer shall also serve as ex officio, non-voting members of the Mississippi Lottery Corporation. So it sounds to me like the governor has chosen some good folks to be part of this lottery board.
That's nice. That's great.
Yeah. And I think the lottery. It's about time we got something like this here in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and plus it's like at what, $1 billion now?
I think so.
I think it just hit $1 billion. I think a few hours ago, or maybe yesterday. So yeah, So when are they supposed to finalize your lottery so that you guys can get it?
I'm not sure, but it shouldn't be too much longer now.
Yeah.
It took a long time. They fought for it a long time in North Carolina before they got it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really care one way or another, but my mama did not want the lottery. She's a very Southern Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I have heard and I have forgotten, but I don't know how much actually gets to the schools. I hope a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really play. Once in a great while, I'll get $1 scratch off or something, but very sad. I know. And but I do think if there's money going to the schools and then okay, if people aren't abusing it and losing all their money.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, the little store here, and we have like a Family Dollar and the old country store and a store on the creek that sells gas and some odd and ends. I mean, it's a tiny, like 200 people that live in the town. And one of the fellas told me a little while back they had paid out $8,000 that week.
Wow.
Now they got about 3 or 4 machines and sell tickets. That's a lot of money going out into, into this little county. I mean, but anyway, if it helps, if they give enough to the school to help and it matters, then I'm all right with it. I think lottery's all right. Do you want it there, Steve, Henry?
I have no issue with it. I mean, if it helps, I mean, the main reason it was established was to help with infrastructure. So I don't have any issue with it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of a libertarian when it comes to this. If people wants to spend $100 a lottery ticket, let them spend it. Jeez, don't regulate and all this other nonsense of it.
I agree too.
It's their business. Let them buy it. Even though I don't do the lottery. I'm not really into it. I don't really spend money to do it. Henry, have you spent money for a lottery, or have you ever in the past?
Not in the past, no. I mean, but, they're make. I may buy a few tickets. Once they begin selling them, I may get a few, maybe $20 worth.
Well, my husband's family, it's a big family, and like, how when the family gets so big that you go down to only get presents for mama and the babies, because the family's so big. But a lot of time, in his family, somebody will go and buy like $22 tickets.
Yeah.
And just give for Christmas. And if somebody goes and blows $100, if 70 of it goes to the school system, then that is still a help. I don't know how much goes to the school, but it might be $12. But if a decent amount gets to where it's supposed to be going, then at least if they blew it, somebody else got it that needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about how I feel on that.
You got anything else for us, Henry?
No, that's it from this end.
All right. Lel, you got any local news for us?
There's a big festival in Bath tomorrow celebrating Blackbeard.
Nice.
And Blackbeard lived here off and on, or stayed here often off and on, lived here for a while. Bath was the capital of North Carolina at that time in the 1700s. And the governor was here and lived here and all of that. But anyway, big festival tomorrow with booths selling things and reenactments, people dressed in period clothes, and food, all of whatever. If anybody listening happens to be near Bath, North Carolina. But it's going to be all day, and then I think tomorrow night they're going to start the haunted tours and tell the old ghost stories that they have a couple of people take you, your youngins, whoever, and walk you through the streets and tell you this happened here and that happened there and so, and it's a kind of little haunted, and it's mostly true, or at least the rumors are true. And So we got bass over 300 years old now, and they're having a lot of celebrations and things, and especially with Blackbeard spending time here, too. And he supposedly married a girl from here. Blah blah blah. But anyway, having all that tomorrow. As I usually say, buy Melissa George's books. And I realized the other day, I thought, darn, why didn't I think to mention Ryan? Ryan Reading's got a book out, and I think it's called Alien Altercations, No Interactions. Go to Ryan Reading and you can find it, and it's more like a it's not so much of a story tale, it's more like a field journal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good. And I was just thinking the other day I hadn't endorsed Ryan, and I need to do that. So
yeah, just send me the links to both of those, and I'll post them in the description below.
Cool.
Yeah,
Ryan's book was good. Did you read it, Henry?
No. Okay, I found something that this has been a late breaking news.
They've got Hillary locked up.
No, I wish.
Well,
no. What has happened is prepared salads have been recalled for salmonella and listeria risk.
Ooh.
No one has been reported sick because of potential contamination. Ready-to-eat salads made by small suppliers across the country are being recalled because they might be contaminated with listeria or salmonella, the U.S. Department of Agriculture said Friday. Suppliers in Florida, California, Washington, Oregon, and Texas have recalled mixed salads sold at retailers that include Trader Joe's, Walmart, 7-Eleven, and Whole Foods, the USDA said. No one has been reported sick, but suppliers of some of the ingredients have reported the salads may have been contaminated. All of the salads contain meat such as chicken and pork. Some of the salads are bagged and some are in plastic kits, the USDA's Food Safety Information Service said. There's a full list on their website. There have been no confirmed reports of adverse reactions due to consumption of these products. Anyone concerned about an injury or illness should contact a healthcare provider, the USDA said. The concern is some products may be in consumers' refrigerators. The Food Safety Group is urging people not to consume them. These products should be thrown away or returned to the place of purchase, FSIS said. And Shane, I'm going to send you the link to this story.
All right, yeah, I'll put that in the description as well.
You can include that in the description because
that's big. It is big.
I mean, this is serious stuff. What's going on here? So.
Yes, it is. But people that manufacture food cannot take any chance whatsoever. And it's like, I don't know if y'all remember the Rose Farm eggs several months ago, and that egg farm is in the next county behind me in Hyde County. And they said that unsanitary practices and salmonella or whatever had been found there. Well, my brother works there. And what they found was mildew and whatnot on a building way out away from where the chickens were. where the chickens were and the eggs and all of that was fine. It was out across the yard or the field in some little building that nobody ever used or went to or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Was where the contamination was found. And also, at the same time, they had, I know Cracker Barrel was one, I'm certain. But there was one, at least one, if not two, other restaurants
Mm-hmm.
that people had eaten their eggs and got sick. And Rose Farm did not deliver to any of these restaurants.
Hmm.
But they put it all out there together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people are sick from eating eggs at Cracker Barrel. Contamination found at Rose Farm.
Yeah.
How? And like I say, they did find contamination, but it was out way the hell away from everything else in a building that was no longer used.
Mm-hmm.
And the restaurants who had people get sick did not use their eggs.
Hmm.
Not that I'm not saying this, you know, we've always got to be careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, but at the same time, you gotta, you know, see what's what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's getting kind of bad that you can't trust what you eat anymore. You know.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
Well,
another thing.
yeah, I agree with that. We've all got to be careful, wash it good, and
Mm-hmm.
be careful of where it comes from or whatever.
Yeah.
Another thing that I should point out is that if you use Apple products, let's say you use iTunes or iPad, iCloud,
Mm-hmm.
Be careful because there is a phishing scam, PHISIHING,
Mm-hmm.
where you get what seems to be an official email from Apple saying, you know, $70, charging you $70, trying to charge you $70.99 on your credit card.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got a few of those. I contacted Apple and gave them the email address. They said, "Yeah, this is a scam. It's phishing. They're trying to fish for your information." So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's
yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I heard something about that going on, but yeah, it's good to be aware because I think we talked about this last week or maybe the week before about the whole phone calls. You know, you get from the IRS saying you owe in such and such in back taxes and all that and all those scams. So yeah, and it's not just phones that they're targeting people. It's on Facebook, it's on Twitter, it's on your email, it's on everywhere. So yeah, everybody has to be on alert for that.
And the thing is, a lot of the time your spam filter will catch them, but occasionally, every so often, one will get through. One will get to your inbox.
Yeah.
So that's
well, all of this mess with if you get a friend request from me, that's been going on. I got 2 messages. One from a person I talk to a lot on Facebook, and one person I hardly ever talk to. And they both said the same thing. So and so been hacked, and if you don't want, then you have to. And I just closed it, didn't click on it, didn't do anything. Any of the things I saw posted, didn't click, didn't like, didn't do nothing. And I've had no problems. I just ignored the entire mess, and I had no problem with it.
Yeah, that's the best thing is to, you know, if you see something like it, just ignore it or delete it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So my local news has to deal with the election. Early voting. Early voting starts next Wednesday, this upcoming Wednesday, the 24th. And it's going to go through November 3rd. And the times are Monday through Friday from 8:30 to 4:30, and then Saturday from 9 to 5. So if you're in the West Virginia area, get out and early vote if you can't vote on the 6th. I'm definitely going to take advantage of this early voting and vote one day next week. And so, yeah, do you guys early vote or do you wait on election day?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think, you know, usually I just wait till election day. I tend not to really vote unless I'm not going to be in town.
Yeah,
Let's
see,
say,
that's me.
yeah, if I'm not in town, you know, for the vote, then I may early vote. But I really don't see the point in early voting. Yeah, personally, I'm going to vote, on the very day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like we have long lines. We're a small town. We don't have long lines
Yeah.
at our polling
Yeah,
place.
same
Yeah, that's
here.
another thing. That's another thing. If you want to avoid those long lines, then you can early vote if you want to.
Well, for me to early vote, I'd have to drive 20 minutes away.
Mm-hmm.
And there probably wouldn't be much of a line, if any, but I can wait till the 6th and go 3 miles and then vote then, and there's not going to be a line
Mm-hmm.
anyway. And, but let me tell you, last year, I forgot what we were, the primaries maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the last time I went and voted, um, somebody was running for sheriff, and he's okay dude, I don't have anything against him. And I like, and his wife and his family, they're nice, good Christian people in general. But I took my driver's license out of my pocketbook. I left my pocketbook in the car because it's a small town, no damn, and I ain't got no money anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I had my driver's license in my hand when I got out of the car, and this fellow was, young fellow was standing there for his dad, handing out little cards, please vote for my dad, so and so. And he said, he handed me a card, and I said, "Oh, thank you." And he apparently saw my driver's license. He said, you don't have to have your ID to vote. And I said, yes, I know, but I think
Mm-hmm.
you should.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, that's just fine. Have a good day, ma'am, and whatever. But I take my ID. Everybody know what. My first cousin of the four women sitting behind the table, to get you through and get you voted. The first
Mm-hmm.
one was my first cousin. The second one was one of my high school teachers. I mean, they know who I am, but I take
Mm-hmm.
it anyway
Yeah.
because I think we should. And whether
Mm-hmm.
they
Yeah, I completely
believe it
agree.
or not, you know, I take mine.
Mm-hmm.
It should.
All right. All
Anything
right.
else?
So, yeah, no, I think it's going to do it for us tonight. So, yeah. So tune in next week on the 26th for another Not Mainstream. Lord only knows what's going to happen between now and then. But if you cannot wait, me and Henry's going to do the Webcasting Dead tomorrow night, the 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Breaking Badcast channel on YouTube. And it was a good episode. Again, started out slow, and it really picked up by the end. However, hopefully there won't be any technical difficulties like there were last week. Goodness, geez, a lot of technical difficulties on my end.
And that y'all had problems.
Yeah.
Well,
and then
you've been fortunate to be able to stay on tonight and Wednesday night. You know,
yeah. So
yeah,
fingers crossed.
Wednesday night went good.
Yeah. So fingers crossed.
And also tomorrow is St. Patty's Day. That's in Patty Patterson Gimlin film. 51 years. 51 years.
Big 5-1.
Yes.
And you know, tomorrow night is one of the meteor showers too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome! I didn't hear about that.
I don't know if we'll be able to see it if it's too cloudy. We may not be able to see it here.
Well, as usual, it peaks at 2 when everybody's too damn tired. But but usually, if you're in a good dark area, country or whatever, you can see them, you know, by 11 or 12. At least some.
I've been out in the middle. I've been out in the middle of a field, you know, in the dark, and I've seen, you know, some beautiful shooting stars. Oh my gosh!
Me too.
That's it.
Me too. In the mountains and here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We'll see if we go down and sit on the pier, you know, and look over the creek. But and we'll see how I feel. I might, if my pier's gone from the hurricane. Well, it's there, but it's up against the shore. But my neighbor's pier's still good, and she doesn't care if I walk down there and sit on it. Well, I don't know. I don't usually stay up till that late.
Yeah, I don't stay up that late to watch them either. I usually probably try and, you know, probably see if someone posted it on Facebook and catch a glimpse like that. So let's see here. So
if it's a real big event, I try to get up and at least look in that direction so I can say I saw it. And you know, like Haley's Comet or something. I saw Haley's Comet, you know, and then stumble back in and go to bed.
And then let's see here. So next Friday is another Not Mainstream. Tomorrow night's the Webcasting Dead. Wednesday night is Real or Not Real on the Looking for Bigfoot channel, and it's going to be the last one for the season. And yeah, and then on the 7th we're going to do some Sasquatch Theater, but we'll get to that when the time comes. So yeah. So on that note, we'll see you here next week. Good night, everybody. God bless America, and God bless President Donald J. Trump.
Amen.